Ladies and gentlemen, after my major parlay win last weekend, I received a phone call from the U.S. government saying that they were going to terminate my online betting account because they thought I was cheating. Guys, that's how much we're winning. It's crazy. The U.S. government has come. They've told me, listen, we were going to send more money to Ukraine, but because you keep winning, we can't do it. Guys, I am single-handedly affecting the Ukraine war with Russia. This is unbelievable stuff. They're printing more money. I'm causing inflation. They just said they had to print more money because I won people so much. We're giving stuff away, guys. It's all through this safe parlay. So let's get right into it. My top 5 parlays for the week 4 of college football. The safe parlay, guys, the motto, safe and secure. That's the motto. And we go Florida at Tennessee. Give me the over 49.5. There have been some questions people have. They say, the real over-under is, 60 or 62. Guys, I am buying points, meaning I am taking the over 49.5 at a massive, negative 450. I'm not getting over 49.5 minus 110. Okay, but because it's a parlay and you multiply them, when you do the safe parlay, it's safer to do this. I think this game is going to go over either way, but I'm getting the over 49.5 minus 450 because I'm buying those points. The actual minus 110 number is 62.5. You guys know what I'm saying? So I'm buying, and that's kind of how I do it for the safe parlay. So I think this Florida-Tennessee game, it's going to be 45-30. It's going to be a really high-scoring game. But remember the motto, safe and secure. We want to be safe. It's definitely going over 49.5. I know that. Clemson at Wake Forest, the under 67.5. Guys, once again, I'm buying points. I'm getting this probably at minus 450 or whatever it is. I've got a screenshot. You can see the overall odds at the end. But taking the under, I love the under 57 or 56 in general in this game. Wake Forest is completely one-dimensional, and Clemson is just a team that, because of the way they're built and their offense being broken, they're going to play a lot of closer, low-scoring games. They've got a really elite defense and a really mediocre offense. So a lot of closer, low-scoring games. I've got Clemson winning this game 27-22. Personally, the Florida Atlantic at Purdue over 49.5. This game is a lock. FAU, horrible on defense, but they can score. Purdue throws the ball about 70 times a game. This game, I believe, is at 7:30 on BTN. And guys, I look at the weather. It's beautiful. It's crazy. It's going to be 75 and sunny there. Take the over in that one. Michigan money line versus Maryland. So this is what I call a win-win. If Michigan loses, I win in real life. If Michigan wins, I win in the parlay. It's a win-win. But no, seriously, I think Michigan is minus 800 money line. Is it really worth it? I don't know. I would just be shocked if Michigan lost. I think, even if this is a 7-point game, I think people will start calling Michigan a fraudulent team because of their first 3 games. The opponents, Michigan's really got to go out here and I would say at least win by 17, at least cover the spread and prove themselves. But they're at home. This is the big noon game on Fox. They are maybe 16.5-point favorites right now. So Michigan certainly should win. Maryland has a decent offense, but they barely beat SMU. I don't think Maryland is anything crazy. And then number 5, guys, take a leap of faith. Let me explain my reasoning. I'm going Minnesota, just money line. They are minus 3 at Michigan State. Guys, the Big Ten needs Minnesota to win this game. They're going to rig it for Minnesota. Michigan State is a lost cause. Michigan State already has one bad non-conference loss. They're going to lose to Ohio State. They're going to lose to Michigan. They're going to lose to Penn State. They're a lost cause. The Big Ten needs Minnesota to be propped up as much as possible. They're the only hope left in the Big Ten West. They will win this game. I am not screwing around with them minus 3, especially in a money line. I will just take them winning this game outright any way possible for the safe parlay. and there are the overall odds. So you can see like over 49.5 is minus 500, right? It's not minus 110. I'm not getting over 49.5 for the Florida-Tennessee game, minus 110. And I'm not getting, like, you can see they're all bought down. But that is the overall safe parlay right there. My second parlay, we're going Virginia at Syracuse, the over 53. So, guys, Virginia football, I mean, I'm about to sue Virginia football. They've cost me so much. But now, Virginia is due for a game to go over. This is a Friday night game. Syracuse is known for playing pretty crazy Friday night games. They score decent. Syracuse has a good quarterback, really good running back. Virginia, again, you would think with Brennan Armstrong, the weapons, they would be due to score. They've burned me so much. I'm hoping they come through. Don't have to worry about the weather. The game, obviously, in the Carrier Dome. So I will take the over 53 on this one. Louisville, money line versus South Florida. Actually looking at this, I would probably advise not to do this. This game offers very little upside. I think Louisville is minus 800, and South Florida just played Florida really close. But I can't see Louisville falling to 1-3 with Malik Cunningham. Aren't they 1-2? Yeah, they lost week 1. They barely beat UCF, and then they lost last week to FSU. I can't see them going 1-3. I'm not sure if it's worth minus 800 to risk that, but they are at home, and I think they're 13-point favorites right now. I have them money line. Baylor +3 at Iowa State. I love the value. Iowa State is not very good, folks. They're even worse than last year. It's not like Iowa State was horrible last year, but they definitely had a letdown season. And this year, they've started off 3-0, but let's be real. Baylor is a good team. Baylor football needs respect. I've grown as a person to appreciate the Baylor football program and how they play. They may not be the most talented, but they always beat the teams they're supposed to beat. And I think they're supposed to beat Iowa State. I think they actually have more talent than Iowa State. At least they're similar. Number 4, Clemson at Wake Forest. That's just the straight under 56. Once again, guys, the way Clemson plays, especially against a ranked division, in-conference matchup, you're looking at a lower score. Like, I'm looking at a 27-22 type win for Clemson. Also, it helps that this is a noon game. Guys, noon games always go under. They always go under. The kids come out, they're sleepwalking. They don't know. It's always, it always works that way. It's the overall vibe, and that is just the 4-team parlay there, plus 695 on that one. The number 3 parlay, so this is my unders parlay. Every game in here, I am picking the under. UCLA at Colorado, the under 57. I think the fact that this game is in Colorado plays into me taking the under. Also, Colorado simply can't score. UCLA, they're coming off barely beating South Alabama. Both of these teams are going to be miserable. We could get some snow. You never know. I've seen the forecast. It's getting a little low. We'll see what happens there. But the under 57 should hit. Georgia Tech at UCF. The under 56.5. Georgia Tech can't score, folks. Imagine Georgia Tech gets shut out. Do we really think UCF is scoring 57 points? I don't see it. Even if it's something like 42-7, the under, even if it's 42-14, the under is still hitting. So this just comes down to betting against Georgia Tech. I took the Georgia Tech Ole Miss under last week, which was inexplicably 63. I took the under, and it actually looked like it was in jeopardy in the first quarter. The problem is, again, Georgia Tech cannot score. So Ole Miss gets up by like 30, and they just run the clock out. It ended up being 42-0 was the final score. Number 3, Missouri at Auburn, the under 51. Guys, I said it earlier, this game's got 24-17 written all over it. The under's a lock. This is a noon game. SEC slop fest. SEC orgy. That's what I like to call a game like this. Very low ratings. I think this game is on ESPN, though. Yeah, I don't think this game is on SEC Network. I think it is. This is the noon game on ESPN. Central Michigan at Penn State, the under 63. So I originally loved the under 60.5, but I'll take the under 63.5. I think the reason people are betting this game up is because Central Michigan had a crazy week 1 game against Oklahoma State where it was 58-44. I'm just going to assume that was a total aberration. Penn State, Central Michigan, noon. I think Penn State's last few games have all gone over. They're due for kind of a lower scoring win. In my opinion, 63 is a big number, especially you're talking about a MAC school versus Penn State. If Penn State can hold Central Michigan, to 10 points, are they really going to score 53 or 54? That's a lot to ask, in my opinion, especially for a noon game. Penn State coming off that emotional road win. You're looking at maybe like a 34-14 type vibe. Noon in Penn State. It's sunny. I think this might actually be the ABC game. But that is the 4-team parlay on that one. The unders parlay, all those games going under. This is my 4th parlay, so this is just straight money line. All of these games are just straight money line picks. West Virginia money line at Virginia Tech. This is a Thursday night game, and I think this game has a parity potential. Meaning West Virginia wins this game. They move to 2-2. They've got JT Daniels. They've got the more explosive offense, in my opinion, over Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is just a lost program. I understand they're at home, but with how their season has started, to me, the atmosphere is not going to be anything crazy. Definitely love this game to be a little bit lower scoring, but I'll take West Virginia to get a close win. Arizona moneyline at Cal. So Arizona is 3-point underdogs right now, but California just sucks. They really do. I know they almost beat Notre Dame. That's more of a Notre Dame being bad than California being good, in my opinion. And Notre Dame ended up winning that game anyways. Temple moneyline versus UMass. UMass is just horrific. Temple is at home. Temple is also really bad, although they almost beat Rutgers last week. But I will say, Temple moneyline, they're like minus 800 moneyline versus UMass. Clemson moneyline at Wake Forest. This is another win-win. If Clemson loses, I'll be happy. If Clemson wins, I win the parlay. But now, Clemson, I don't see them losing to Wake Forest. Again, Wake Forest has the major issue. They cannot run the football. So if you're passing 70-80% of the time against that pass rush, it's going to spell disaster. You're talking about multiple interceptions for Sam Hartman, in my opinion. And then number 5, Tennessee moneyline versus Florida. Does this game have parity potential? Maybe, but I don't know, man. Florida is they're just not good enough. I think Anthony Richardson finally throws a few passing touchdowns. He still has 0 passing touchdowns. But Tennessee, it just seems like at home, 3:30 game. It's going to be sunny. You're going to get, the sun setting, 4:35. Actually, the sun doesn't set right now until like 7 or around there. But still, you're going to get the shadows across the field, right at halftime. You know the vibe on those games. Higher scoring, big crowd energy. Tennessee's undefeated. They're not going to squander this opportunity. I think they win this game outright. And honestly, I would not bet the spread personally because it's 10.5. I just wouldn't feel comfortable. The problem is Anthony Richardson is so inconsistent. It's really impossible to bet Florida one way or the other on the spread, in my opinion. But that is the overall 5-team straight-up moneyline parlay, taking one underdog and then one kind of toss-up, that full thing there. And then this is my late parlay, so this is all the games at 7:30 or later. The first game, I've got Utah minus 15 at Arizona State. So Arizona State going through that coaching issue. Normally, these games tend to go one or two ways when a team has a coaching problem. The team will rally together or they'll completely get blown out. Last week, we saw Nebraska get completely blown out. I think Arizona State, the way their program is set up, it's going to be even worse. There were rumors coming out of Arizona State that they were trying to lose games to get Herm Edwards fired. You could say, well, now they're not going to try and lose, but I just think the way that the health of that program is so strained right now, and you're facing a Utah team, they know they have no margin for error. After losing that week 1 game to Florida on the road, they've been covering every spread. They're out for blood. Minus 15. That's a pretty easy number to cover, in my opinion. Stanford at Washington, the under 64. I have no clue how this game is getting bet up. I would have taken the under 61. I think this is such a letdown situation for Washington after their major emotional win last week. This is a 10:30 game, probably on the Pac-12. Actually, I don't know if it's on the Pac-12. No, it can't be on the Pac-12 network because the USC-Oregon State game is on the Pac-12. This game might be on Fox I'm just guessing, or FS1 maybe. This game, again, I think Stanford is able to hold Washington. Maybe Washington a little emotional, a little, reading their own hype. Maybe they win. I actually have them on upset alert. They might win, but I love the under overall. Western Michigan at San Jose State, the under 49. Basically, what I do is I just bet the under on some of these games that happen at 10:30 because when it's that late, guys, I know technically the game actually is starting, in San Jose State at a reasonable hour, but something happens where I see games that start at 10:30 because I'm, in the Eastern time zone. The vibe of them, it's just, there's no action. It's always low scoring. The same thing happened last week with Utah and San Diego State. I said, listen, this game is starting at 10:30. The under is a lock. If that game would have started at 3:30 or 7:30, I'm thinking the over hits. The time the way it works, it changes stuff. It's pretty crazy. And then Ohio State is just, there's just no value in this bet. Ohio State, the line has gotten bet up to -19. I'll still take Ohio State, but my God, it seems like there's no value in betting Ohio State anymore because the games get bet up so much with the Buckeyes. I mean, 19 is a lot to cover. Technically, Wisconsin is not ranked, but they're probably, good enough to be a top 25 team. But it is a bad match. Oh, you want to know why? So I would say the reason this game has gotten bet up so much, it was 17.5, now it's 19, is because Wisconsin apparently is going to be without their 2 top cornerbacks. That's the rumor. So that does make sense with C.J. Stroud. Wisconsin's going to have to get pressure. The major issue, in my opinion, for Wisconsin, Ohio State really struggles in the secondary. Wisconsin can run the ball. They really can't pass the ball. And Ohio State has a great defensive line. So you're running into the absolute strength of the Buckeyes defense. And that is just the overall late parlay right there. So guys, those are my top 5 parlays for college football week number 4. That's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description. I'm, of course, the Depressed Ginger. Thank you for watching.